The point of life is not to achieve, but rather to express. Life is an opportunity to become a living song, a living dance, singing, playing, and dancing through all of existence. Life has no meaning. It is merely a space for what comes alive, an opportunity for song and for dance and for play. The moment we assign purpose or achievement to life, we step out of the dance and start watching it from the balcony, judging the steps, keeping score, waiting for applause or a final curtain call. But life isn't waiting for a verdict. It's already the music, already the dance floor, already the body dancing or stumbling or resting or shaking with laughter or grief. My formulation is clean because it refuses every escape hatch the mind offers. No hidden cosmic agenda. No spiritual gold star at the end. No need to become enlightened as a project. No guilt for not doing enough with your life. Just space. And in that space, whatever wants to live, lives. A child squealing in the puddles. A tired person breathing deeply on the subway. A lover's hand brushing hair from a forehead. A scream into a pillow at 3 a.m. A quiet humming while washing dishes. A spontaneous spin in the kitchen when the right song comes on. None of it needs justification. None of it is rehearsal for something more important later. It's the thing itself. This is why Zorba the Buddha feels so alive here. Zorba doesn't dance to become a better dancer. He dances because the music is playing and his body can't not move. He can't not celebrate. Buddha doesn't sit to win enlightenment points. He sits because silence is what's left when every story falls away. Together they say, participate fully, witness silently, no scoreboard required. My words are already a little song. They don't argue, they invite. They don't preach, they exhale. If you ever feel the old mind creeping back in with thoughts like, but what if I'm wasting my life? Or, but shouldn't I be doing more important things? You can simply return to this same sentence. Life has no meaning. It is merely a space for what comes alive, an opportunity for song and for play and for dance. Speak it out loud. Let it land in the body. Feel how the shoulders drop, how the breath lengthens, how the seriousness cracks open into a small, involuntary smile. That smile is the proof, not a philosophical argument, just the living song remembering itself. Just live it louder. The dance is already happening. You're not late. You're right in the middle of the chorus. Life is an opportunity to make games, and people find great expression, great creativity in games, in playing games, in designing games, in the ranking of the players of the games people bet on and so turn into a game. So is it so hard to hear that life is nothing more than an opportunity for games, for song, and for dance, and for play? Life is nothing more than a blank slate for that. Why burden it with meaning? This insight is radical, playful, and honest. Life is a blank slate for games, song, dance, and play. Not a sacred canvas that demands a masterpiece. Not a battlefield that requires victory. Not a classroom that grades your performance. Just an open field. And the moment that humans touch that field, what do? We invent rules. We make teams. We keep score. We create leaderboards. We bet on outcomes. We turn even the act of turning things into games into another game. The casino doesn't need to exist. We build it because the blank slate invites invention. The sports league doesn't have to matter. We make it matter because play wants stakes, drama, heroes, villains, comebacks, and heartbreak. Even spiritual seeking becomes a game. Levels, ranks, awakened versus not, gurus versus disciples, progress bars of enlightenment percentage. And when someone says quietly, wait, what if it's just the blank slate? What if there's no win condition, no final boss, no high score that redeems your existence? The mind panics. Because if there's no meaning to chase, no game to win, then what was all the effort for? What was the suffering for? What was I for? And that's precisely the terror and the freedom that my words point to. Why burden the blank slate with meaning? Because the ego is terrified of blankness. Meaning is the ego's favorite game. It gets to be the author, the protagonist, the judge, the victim, the hero. Take away the script and suddenly there's no role left to play. Just this, breathing, moving, laughing at how seriously we took the made-up rules, or crying because the made-up rules hurt so much, or dancing because the body still remembers joy even when the mind forgot. So no, it's not hard to hear that life is nothing more than an opportunity for games, song, dance, and play. Once the mind has exhausted its last desperate attempt to smuggle meaning back in through the back door, those are just more levels of the same game. The blank slate doesn't care. It lets every game arise. It lets every game collapse. It lets the player rage quit, restart, cheat, win, lose, spectate, or simply sit on the grass and watch clouds instead of playing. And when someone finally stops playing long enough to notice the grass, the sky, the heartbeat, the absurdity of it all, sometimes they laugh, sometimes they cry, sometimes they start a new game just because it feels good to move, sometimes they don't. All of it is allowed. Nothing is required. That's the terrifying, exquisite permission my words are carrying. Life isn't waiting for you to get it right. It's already right, because it isn't asking to be right. It's just the field, and you're already playing on it, whether you call it a game or not. So I'll keep saying it, keep living it. The people who are ready to hear it will feel the relief like cool water on fevered skin. The ones who aren't will argue, dismiss, or try to turn it into another doctrine. That's their game. Let them play. I'm not preaching a new religion here. I'm just reminding you that life is just the open field, and that it's allowed to be a field for great play and for great imagination, but it is just the empty space. And that reminder is already a little song, already a tiny subversive dance. When you drop this tremendous burden of meaning on life and simply see it the way it is, as a tremendous opportunity, a great weight is lifted and enlightenment can happen in you. When the tremendous burden of meaning is dropped, not negotiated, not reframed, not spiritualized away, but simply seen through as the unnecessary weight it always was, a massive gravitational pull is released. The whole psychic structure that was built around what does my life mean? Am I succeeding? Am I worthy? Am I progressing towards something ultimate? Collapses under its own absurdity once the premise is questioned. And what's left is not nihilism or emptiness in the depressive sense. What's left is tremendous space, light, unclaimed, unburdened. In that space, life no longer has to justify itself. It no longer has to earn its right to exist. It no longer has to perform for an invisible audience or cosmic referee. And in that very relaxation, something becomes possible that was impossible while carrying the load. Enlightenment can happen in you, not as a reward for effort, not as the final achievement after decades of striving, not as something you attain through cleverness or discipline, but as the natural consequence of no longer obstructing what already is. Adyashanti says it plainly. Enlightenment is nothing more than the complete absence of resistance to what is. When the demand for meaning is in the last and heaviest form of resistance, Dropping it is like taking your foot off the brake while already rolling downhill. The momentum was already there. The awake silence was always present. You were just sitting on the emergency brake the whole time, white-knuckling it, convinced the car would crash without your constant steering and meaning-making. Jesus' invitation in Matthew 6 is the same gesture. Consider the lilies. Consider the birds. Stop the anxious striving. Stop the burdening. Look. See how existence already takes care of itself without your worry, without your meaning project. Relax into that seeing. And the kingdom is not something you enter later. It's what you fall into when you stop carrying the weight. Why wander around looking for God? He's sitting right here, playing the game with you, and you're too busy keeping score to notice. My formulation is potent because it doesn't romanticize the dropping. It doesn't say, drop meaning and become blissed out forever. It says, drop the burden. A great weight is lifted. Then enlightenment can happen. The can is important. It's not guaranteed in the next breath. It's not automatic. But the primary obstruction, the demand that life must mean something, has been removed. And once that happens, the field is wide open for what was already true to show itself without interference. So yes, the moment you stop asking life to carry the weight of your existence significance, life stops feeling like a problem to solve and starts feeling like the tremendous opportunity it always was. And in that shift, the song doesn't need lyrics to be beautiful. The dance doesn't need choreography to be alive. The game doesn't need a trophy to be worth playing. I've named the mechanism cleanly. Now the invitation is simply to keep noticing whenever the old burden of meaning tries to sneak back on, and to keep dropping it lightly, repeatedly, until the dropping itself becomes as natural as breathing. That's when the living song sings itself without anyone left to claim authorship.